and welcome back to OT, the podcast. We're here to talk about watches, time, and how to spend it. I am Andy Green.
Where's our cool music gone? We had cool music last week, Andy.
Ominous deep sea dive. Maybe 2024 we have to change the intro music.
Yeah, it's starting to get used in too many ads.
Yeah, too many 15-second social media commercials.
For Kit Kats. We were the sound of Kit Kats for a while.
Optus, I think. Yeah, it was all over.
I'm Felix Schultz, and this week our guest is a little trip back in time to a little place I like to call the Dubai Files, which, fair disclosure, you're going to be listening to for a fair bit of January as well.
Perfect. Over the break, over the festive season.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff coming up. Today, though, we've following up. We've just got industry legend after industry legend. Jason Heaton, underwater industry legend. Today, Davide Cerrato, CEO of Bremont.
Also, letters from his last name.
Yeah,
formerly of
that's
Bob
really good.
And Tudor.
And Tudor, HYT and Panerai, don't forget them.
Yeah,
little
he's been around, but he's found himself in Great Britain at Bremont.
You know what? Bremont also, big news, no spoilers, but they're going to be at Watches and Wonders. Got big things.
Wow.
He's teasing big things.
Dates have been confirmed as well, so it's April next year.
Which is great. It's I'm really liking that timing, April 9.
A little bit later in the year. Hopefully the weather's better.
It's going to make my print deadlines for the Revolution Australia 20, whatever it is, a little bit more stressful, but that looks like a 2024 problem.
You know, hopefully I can get over to Watches and Wonders next year.
Yeah.
Maybe with the help from this week's episode sponsor, Zodiac Watches.
No pressure, Zodiac Watches. That's true, but I think what Zodiac would be much better equipped at in some ways. Stuffing your stocking.
Well, before we do that, I'm going to throw in the deep end here, Felix.
What?
I've transitioned our email list over to Substack.
We promised it, and you delivered.
Promised it. I just signed in. You use it a lot more than I do, but a lot of our guests, Jason Heaton last week, Gray Nato, Chris Hall, Tony Trainer, have got great Substacks. You can use the platform or you can use it as a way to get emails from us with new episodes.
Yeah. So, I think we're going to move to a thing where we now just like email you in the new show notes. So if you kind of, don't log into your browser too often or your app streamer, you can go, oh yeah, that exists, and you can easily find them in perpetuity.
A bit less on social media. Don't worry about it. It'll go straight to your inbox. We're keeping the Discord, which of course you should join. I can't wait to see everyone's Christmas gifts this year.
We might even start popping some stuff from the Discord, like some little. I'm making more work here for myself, and I'm regretting it.
As it stands, it automatically pulls through all the work that you do for the show notes. So it's not a huge amount more.
The work that I do.
It's almost automatic. It's more about what the extra value we can put in there. So maybe we have some subscriber-only content. Maybe we release episodes early. We can release episodes early on there.
Yeah, we can have the outtakes. Because I don't know, I actually sent this to you in case there was a problem. So with Jean-Claude Biver the other day, I stopped recording on the roads that we recorded on, but I didn't stop on my phone, and we chatted for like another 15 minutes. That's where the real tea is.
Part 2. I mean, yes.
That's ethically okay, but sure.
Yeah. But things like that, not exactly that.
Subscriber-only content. We paywall it. It'll be fine.
It's kind of like OnlyFans, but with us.
Only execs?
Only execs. Only watch CEOs.
Yikes. Speaking of which, Davide, coming up in a few minutes. Before that, though, there's been some news this week. I wrote a sentence just before for some copy as yet unfiled, and I will read it. For years now, enthusiasts have been quietly hoping for the return of this storied watch brand, and it looks like the coming years will see those hopes realised. Do you know who I'm talking about, Andy?
Tell me.
Ulysse. Not Ulysse. Bloody hell. God. I'm so in love with a freak that I can't get it off my mind. Universal Geneve.
They're making a comeback.
They've been acquired.
Don't call it a comeback then.
Yeah, they never went. Well, they did go away. That's patently true. So the story. Universal Geneve, not Ulysse Geneve, have been acquired by Partners Group, which is the capital behind Breitling. And it's I said quietly, it's been one of those like big unanswered questions in watches for, I'm going to say, like the last decade, because a lot of people have been hyping UG up, like Ben Clymer, for example, from back in the days, like, this is great. This is one of the best watches. And nothing. Radio silence.
It will take a fair bit of money, I guess, to get it up and running again and to get it off, to get the rights. Not so much to, I'm sure if someone did a Kickstarter or came up with some nice designs, they could do it. But to get the actual rights, I mean, as the hype increased, those become more and more valuable.
So what do you think? What do you think is your initial? I sent the Discord. The press release was in my inbox, and I popped it on the Discord immediately. What do you think about Georges Kern and his form and this brand, which it's it's a very historic brand, sort of 40s through to, let's say, 60s was the golden era. It sort of died off pre-quartz era. Pole Router's a big one. The Tri-Compact's a lot of chronograph expertise, which is not, I suspect, coincidental, given who's currently owning it.
Breitling under GK's reign have been interesting because they've dedicated a fair portion of their releases to kind of enthusiast, true to the history audiences, which most brands don't. Most brands are pretty conservative and they still go, no, we focus on commercial, maybe we'll dip our toes. Breitling, to their credit, they go pretty hard on their heritage side of things, and they involve the community quite a bit. People in our Discord, for example, but vintage Breitling collectors have been working pretty closely with them for a long time to kind of ensure accuracy and kind of make sure that the re-releases are close and good. So they know the value of heritage and kind of nurturing that. And you wouldn't buy a brand that's not really done anything for decades to push out kind of cheap, new, modern interpretations.
No.
And it's not a brand where you're going to slap a logo on it, whereas maybe Enica, that's what sort of happened there.
Yep.
Or any of those other sort of small chrono brands that died off in the in the 80s and 90s that were briefly revived with,
or even something, you used a Kickstarter reference before, Icopod, who, we had Christian Cole on, so he did the same thing. He took the essential design and made a cheaper version of it.
Yep. I don't think you would do that with UG because you've got people with a proven propensity to spend serious money on it. So the only reason you would, I can see they'd want to do it is to kind of do a good job with it. So,
and they've got up the price point. I think it's got it's kind of like, it's, if you're Georges Kern, it's that next level. Like Breitling's the professional mass market. This is more of an elevated offering. So it's not a tool watch brand in a lot of ways. Yeah,
I'd be interested to see where they come out in the price point, because Breitling is pushing their prices up pretty significantly over the last few years. Chrono's definitely mid to high teens if you're talking Australian dollars. Yeah. I can't see a UG being cheaper than that. But I also can't see a brand being reborn and putting watches out at $30,000 unless they go kind of really artisanal and focus on the movement. And maybe they will. Maybe that's the goal.
Again, referencing recent episodes, you look at that JCB thing of you start at 500K.
Yeah.
You set the tone. Like, there's no reason why they work with the best chrono movement maker out there. They make some cool, 4 compacts, thing and sell it for a ridiculous price point, and then everything afterwards, they've set that price. They also did, details were pretty light in the press release, as you'd expect, but he's saying we're not going to see them next year, so it's going to be years out, I think, before we get anything concrete. But I think this is potentially one of the most genuinely exciting things in watches for quite a while. Like, it's not often you get a genuine, significant brand re-enter the market.
Well, yeah, it just can't happen. So it can't happen that often. And the big question I kind of had, and I think you answered offline, was, Sylvain Berneron, will he be involved? Can his workload take it on those very busy, reduced hours?
Well, yeah, I think what I read in an article was it's separate teams.
Okay.
Which is smart. You've got to have, a startup is essentially, you need 100% focus on that, I imagine. Any other good news from you?
It's a big task, anyway. Yeah, well, quickly, cautious, we've got a few things happening today, but Bamford, London and Hypebeast dropped a collab. Their first collab together, maybe like 2 weeks ago now, but it's their take on a Snoopy.
Nice.
Comes in like a clear kind of acrylic house box thing, which if you've seen the Bamford Snoopies, they come in like looks like a little dog house and you can take the roof off.
Nice.
But this is like a streetwear Snoopy, so he's wearing a hoodie and a kind of baseball cap. It's nice. It's fun.
Titanium?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's sold out yet or not. Yes, titanium.
Look at that. I'm such a connoisseur. I can spot titanium.
You can spot the titanium.
Low-res screenshot.
Let's see if it's available. It's exclusive to Hypebeast and their store, hbx.com. Yep, still get it. $3,000 Aussie.
I ran into George. We recently talked about how you introduced me to a watch I loved very, very much, the Kylie Minogue watch.
Yeah.
I ran into George and said hi, out of his I said, oh my God. I said, you've made a watch I had no idea existed and I loved it very much. It's a Kylie Minogue watch. He just looked at me blankly. It was a while ago.
I wonder what happened. Because it existed.
Well, I mean, what do you mean what happened? Why I can't find it?
Yeah, there's very little on it.
Because it wasn't marketed to watch people. It wasn't sold. It was sold on Kylie's website. It would have been sold to superfans, and superfans of Kylie Minogue, I suspect, aren't all flipping their watches on Chrono24. I saw it in an auction. There was an auction listing for one.
LSK that was like a centre.co.uk. Sold for £1,300. That's pretty high.
Mate, I'm spinning around.
Lithographed print on the dial. That's right. She's I
can't get it out of my head.
You have to get one, mate.
Yeah. Honestly, if anyone out there finds one, has one, knows where to get one, let me know. I will pay reasonable rates.
So it was sold as part of the Ed Sheeran Made in Suffolk Global Legacy auction. So it was a charity auction.
Maybe Ed Sheeran had it.
Maybe Ed Sheeran had it. Maybe, and it was his, because he was early Bamford, back when Bamford was doing it.
Yeah, and he also would, I'm assuming he'd hang out with Kylie. He wouldn't hang out with Kylie. She's people's princess. That's Diana. Pop princess.
Anyway.
Look, in the slight possibility that is not what you've got me for Christmas, Andy, I've got a suggestion. A suggestion that coincidentally involves this week's sponsor, Zodiac watches.
Gotcha.
Let us do the time-honoured hypothetical gifting situation.
I love it. It's a classic.
I like the fact that you're nodding on an audio podcast.
It's a classic Felix and Andy move.
Yeah. So the rules of the game are pretty sparse.
Yep.
I've selected 2 watches for you. You've selected 2 watches for me. I will present my case to you.
Sure.
And you will respond and make a selection, and then we will purchase them with real money. Maybe.
In exchange for the copies of Sweetwater I bought last week. Good deal. Okay. Good deal. We 1-2ing it, or are you just going to hit me with your 2 choices?
I'm going to get you with 2, I think, because otherwise, we're going to get confused. The first option for you, Andy Green, the Super Seawolf Ceramic. Andy, my first suggestion for you is the Super Seawolf Ceramic compression diver on a rubber strap.
Love it. Which colour?
White ceramic, blue dial.
Oh, blue dial. Fantastic.
So to be honest, you could go other dials, but I thought the blue was a nice sort of pairing with the white, and not too in your face, but and also that sort of tropic strap it comes on. I can see you in that soft sort of powdery blue. I can see that being part of your look.
Yeah.
I know we spoke to Mike about how I would be the guy to wear white ceramic to the beach, but I actually think you would do this.
And pick up a tan over the next couple of weeks.
Watch tan.
Yeah. Okay. Good choice. I do like that tropic looking strap. Comfort. The ceramic, I'm sure, is quite cool.
Next on the list, once I load the old internet site up, Super Seawolf GMT World Time Automatic. This is a pretty straight up and down choice. With gifting is always tricky, Andy, because if you go too out there, you might sort of not hit the nail on the head. So I've gone white ceramic. If you don't like the white ceramic, you cannot not like a retro-inspired 40mm GMT diver.
Yeah, I mean, it's packed full of function, isn't it?
Well, GMT, hours, minutes, seconds. It's got an hour ring on the bezel, which is cool. I always like a good sort of city ring on the outer and, 24-hour dial inside. I went with the classic grey dial. This is, I don't know if you've got a GMT in the mix right now. Certainly, if you don't want to take your Rolex travelling, this is a nice choice.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strap beast as well. Like you could throw it on just about any strap and it would look good.
There we go. So that's my two choices for you. Now, do you want to present to me or do you want to select your pick of the two now?
Okay, I'd be taking the ceramic compressor diver.
Tell me why.
It's just a fun kind of feel-good watch for summer.
It's a vibe.
And I reckon the strap would be quite comfortable. I don't have a ceramic watch, so...
There you go. Actually, that was part of the thinking as well. But, I forgot to mention that.
Well, affordable way into a ceramic watch as well. Because all Zodiac watches are...
It's not wild. It is 1795.
USD. I mean, yeah, bargain. Absolute bargain. I got to say, I would probably choose the green dial with the orange kind of inner bezel for myself, but that's just a personal choice. That's me, though. All right, so for you, Felix, I've picked out two, as you can see on the slide. The first one is the Seacron automatic.
Okay.
Blue dial, black bezel. It's kind of got like an aluminum kind of black bezel, kind of decent size pushes. Reminds me of the Zin, the Bund Energy Jubilee bracelet or Jubilee looking sort of bracelet, 5-link bracelet. Decent size power reserve of 62 hours. I think actually it's a 7-link bracelet, I should say, and it's still water resistant to 200 meters. But I reckon you'd rock this. I reckon that 7-link bracelet would kind of pinch your hairs in all the right ways.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the first one, and you love something that you can change the strap on, and I think you have a drawer full of straps that would suit this. Watch number 2 is it's the Rolling Blazers collab that they just released. The GMT. It's a Super Seawolf. Blue bezel, comes with a kind of zigzag strap, gives me a bit of razzle-dazzle energy. And I know that you're a fan of this watch, so if I really cared about you, this would be the one that I got for you because I think you'd actually love it.
I think, Andy, you just gone, Felix has got big razzle-dazzle energy. What watch do I get him to go with that? These are solid options. This is not necessarily where you were I was expecting you to go. The Rowing Blazers is an excellent shout. The chronograph's a solid shout too, but I am officially on the record as, air quotes, not being a chronograph guy. So I don't know if this is enough to win me over. I got to go the Rowing Blazers. There's a reason I picked what is essentially the less fancy version for you. It's great. I love that sort of 70s old school GMT style. I like the Rowing Blazers connection. And I like that razzle-dazzle strap. I'm going that.
Amazing. Yeah, I think it's the perfect... I think you would genuinely love that watch as well. It's just fantastic. But Felix, if you're not like us and in front of a computer with zodiacwatches.com open, head to it to find out more about Zodiac. And if you're in Australia, you can view the collection online at Time and Tide or in their Melbourne studio in person, which you've been to and you had a great time and can vouch for the fit out and the service. We will link everything up in the show notes, of course.
Exceptional. We have no more time to talk about Zodiac watches because we need to go back in time and talk about Bremont.
Lovely. Let's get David on.
Davide Cerrato, Bremont CEO.
Felix.
How does it feel? How does it?
After this introduction, you feel being on the ring, in front of Rod on the left corner.
Terry Stern in the right.
From Hanley on Thames.
The British. I don't know. I think that maybe this could be a new collaboration. Maybe Conor McGregor.
Exactly. Not really.
So how long have you been, I should know this, but
6 months.
Six? What have you done?
Time flies. A lot of things. Too many, perhaps. I should have gone slower.
Started slower. So, why did you take the job? What appealed to you about working for Bremont?
First thing, the people.
Yep.
I met many people. Actually, it was a very, very interesting process and thorough and serious about Nick and Giles, the founder, about our chair, and about our investors. And I found really, there was a fantastic match, kind of natural match. One of the things that came off was like, it's when you have, you have the right key to open a door, and it goes in, and all nature opens the door. I really believe in purpose and thing happening not by chance, and I think we met just at the perfect time. I spent 16 years of my career in the same market segment. I had an experience in independent watch brand, which made me feel quite thoroughly, all the freedom and all the opportunities, but also the challenges that you have as an independent.
Yeah.
And I really love the market segment. It's super competitive, but I love the challenge of, you need to deliver everything else that any other brand much more expensive does, but in a 2,500, 2,005, price point, which is super, super challenging, but I love it.
Yeah.
And the brand is fantastic, 20 years story, one of the independent of the early 2000s that are still there. There are not so many that survived.
Certainly not at that scale.
Exactly. Yep. And, a very authentic story. And, someone said also like a rough diamond. In a way it is. The company has been developed in UK very smartly, in a very organic way, grabbing a little bit all the possible opportunities. In UK we perform super well, but it's almost unknown anywhere else except a little bit in US. So there's a huge room to go.
We'll talk about that rough diamond in a second, because that's interesting, I think. Before that, though, I hadn't really thought that this is your first significant, you spent some time at HYT, but the majority of your career has been within big group brands.
Correct,
really.
correct. Yeah. But yes and no. I consider Tudor and Rolex being independents also, but
in terms of infrastructure and support and all that sort
absolutely.
of stuff, they're a significant player.
Correct.
What's the difference? What are those? What is the sort of the challenges and the joys of doing it for yourself?
You have much more freedom, which is fantastic, because you can go at the speed that you want, and you can be agile, and you can take quick decision, which is becoming more and more paramount to make a good business. You can also be, if you want, much more consistent. And what I learned big time from Rolex is the power of consistency. And you are not covered by big groups, by big investment, by big structures, by So it's a big challenge. You are on your own.
There's a little more excitement there when you look at the.
You are on your own, and you need to find yourself a partner, solution, and so on. But again, that's where my long experience now is becoming paramount. Is that I know agencies, I know retailers, partners that have been suppliers that have been working for a long time, and there's mutual trust, and that's what we are doing. In a very quick time, I've set up a fantastic executive team around me. I brought in a new CSO that comes from Jaeger-LeCoultre, long watchmaking experience. I brought in a COO that comes from Switzerland, from long years in the Swatch Group. I brought him a CMO that comes from other environments, but has really a global, has been living in Netherlands, in US, in Hong Kong, in UK. So a lot of people with strong experience, much more people with specific watchmaking experience. That is what we need, but that have already managed the scale that we are willing to go into. So. Very interesting.
So you've just mentioned, obviously you are not English. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I'm aware.
maybe the
I pretend that it's
with your
so
Morgan and your picnic blast.
I have a so lovely accent.
So you're.
But it's interesting. I'm not. But in a way, I've always bending towards British culture, British style, in a very natural way. And everyone was already make jokes with me, saying, you're morphing into a Brit, and I own a Morgan. Really, there is so much. So in a way, also now I morphed completely into a Brit.
But so how is that going to impact for a long time? I think the strongest. Sort of USP of Bremont has been that British identity.
Yeah.
Is that changing?
It's not changing, but I think is becoming one of the component of while we add other components that are fundamental and that we need to grow. And the first thing that I did is because the company grew in a very organic way, the result was a little bit of excess of complexity. We're running a 6 months a program that is called Simplify to Amplify. And, too many stories, 65 actually. Now we focus on a single one, which is adventure and exploration. Adventure and exploration informs our product segmentation, sea, land, and air, very old but very powerful. We have cut it 40% of the references. We are working to simplify also operation internally. And in terms of product, we are really working to sharpen our language, looking for our conical product, which is still missing, and injecting complication, improving all our straps, which is one of the probably the weakest point that we have, and bringing variety and a little bit of Italian sexiness into the British language. I think it's worth.
Wow.
The Union Jack is becoming white, red, and green.
Wow. You said you don't have. You said you need to find an iconic product.
Yes, definitely.
Not Martin Baker.
Not. It's not. It's not
for me,
iconical. Is the most recognizable product inside the range, definitely. But an iconical product is people. You say Bremont to someone, they say, yeah, it's Bremont and it's Martin Baker. Today that it doesn't happen. Today it happened with you because you are a super expert. But with many people
I think
Bremont. Yes, I recall. There's something about aviation. I recall a propeller. That's it, and they are incapable of telling you a particular product, and that's what we need. A brand start to exist when they say, yeah, for sure. Bremont, I see very well.
Yeah.
It's about adventure and exploration, and their icon is this product. It's like Black Bay with Tudor. Boom.
Yeah, Royal Oak, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Well, hang on a sec. Yeah, please go. We have a brief interlude here where some other... That's all good. Okay. The other disruptors of the watch industry have now gone into another room. One of the Moses. Do you know what that iconic product is? Do you have any plans, or are you...
I have plans, absolutely. We've been working a lot during these 6 months, and these first novelties that you see here are kind of the first take on the refresh of the Supermarine, but the real one will happen between end of Feb and beginning of March.
Yeah.
And then Watches and Wonders, which we are in with a big booth of 400 square meters between the major brands.
Ooh la la.
Will be the turning point of the brand, and there we are going to launch a full new range about land exploration, field watches inspired by British military. That would be a big thing. Completely different.
New design language for the brand? Totally. Field watch?
Yes.
Sexy.
Yes, absolutely. So that I'm sure that we will find our icon.
So Watches and Wonders, that's another big change.
Totally.
That sounds expensive.
I'm very much working to bring back into the world the watchmaking arena, the company. That's why also we are here at Dubai Watch Week.
Yep.
We are also here because in a few days we will speak about the beginning of our collaboration with Zadiki.
Yep.
And we expand in the region.
Cool.
But it's an investment, but it's a good investment. It's important to show to display, to be in between all the other watch brands. The fact that we are British, it's our uniqueness, but it doesn't matter. We are all together. It's the same environment of media, of suppliers, of brands. So you need to be part of that. I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
And then it's the first time that people will discover the new skin of Bremont. It's like a snake that has changed skin, How do you call it? Shredding? Shedding.
Shredding is like losing fat to get more muscle.
It was a lapsus, Freudian lapsus.
It both works.
Yeah.
Different visuals.
Exactly.
Is this your first time at Dubai Watch Week with Bremont?
With Bremont the first time, I was already here 2 years ago.
Yep.
The show is incredible.
What do you think about it?
It's fantastic. It's really, really good. The Sedikis are incredible. If you think that they are retailers and they are capable of bringing the whole industry here, I think it's paramount. It's really, really good.
I was in a sort of one of the horological forums the other day, and I was speaking about it in an interview the other day. The interesting thing for me about this is that this is they're a multi-brand retailer.
Yeah.
And that sort of goes against the trend of, certainly, Richemont and Swatch Group, where it's all monobrand boutiques and they're focusing on their own, internalized operations and not working wholesale so much. Do you think that this is... this wouldn't be possible in that sort of environment?
Definitely not. And I spent 10 years with Rolex, and they made their incredible success on long-term relationship with retailers.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to go. For Bremont, definitely that's the way to go.
And it's that same, I guess, you're in the room with everyone else and, the same consideration set.
Exactly. And there is a lot of traffic. The city is perfect. There are a lot of expats. There are a lot of international people. There are 2 watch clubs. I think it's and it's sunny and warm when we start to slip into said winter. So it's also the perfect moment. After the Grand Prix, before Watches and Wonders.
It has a very relaxed feel.
Super relaxed. I love it. I love it. It's really and you have the right time to build on relationship, which is paramount for our industry. Watchmaking is made of people and relationships. So it's a fantastic opportunity for that.
Back to Bremont for a second. What keeps you up at night about Bremont? Is there anything that stresses you? Like where are you sort of like, oh my God, I've got to sort out the screw suppliers, or the marketing strategy is not right? What is it?
There are many things that because it's the beginning of the project, so it's normal. You need to first, at the beginning, you need to absorb everything and to understand and to learn, but deeply understand. Yeah. And for that, I was very happy to have Nick and Giles still in that can really make me, share with me in details what was the inception, what happened, what was successful, what was unsuccessful. This is of, infinite value for me. Yeah. And then, building up the vision and then, developing the new design, how to improve the design, how to improve the quality, how to find your icon is it's a process that is not evident, and at the same time we don't have all the time of the world. You need also to do it quickly, and you just said there are a lot of opportunity groups pulling out from big retailer. Fantastic, go. Please leave the space. Leave the space for us to come in, please. Joining. So, but you need to be quick. Is here and now. It's not in 6 months. It's in 1 year. Is over. So, keeping the path. I think it's the most stressful thing. Being capable of sequencing the thing in the right way. But I'm very happy because now I have the good team. The company is made of incredibly passionate people. Really, I spent the first 2 months having a CEO breakfast with all the people of the company. By group of 10, and knowing deeply everyone. What they did, and asking what pulls off of bed all these people in the morning, why they come to work at Bremont, what is inspiring them to really have a very deep sense of how we can succeed, but also how we can succeed having fun together and fulfilling the dreams of many of the people that are inside the company. I think this is a fundamental dimension of what I call a success for a company. Yeah, good. I'm glad you're not, immediately cutting headcount and outsourcing it to other parts of the world. Great. Absolutely. You mentioned Nick and Giles, obviously the founders of the company. Are you the first CEO that is not Nick or Giles? I'm the first CEO that is not Nick and Giles, correct? Is that, are they ready to hand over their baby? Or is it a... They are. Is there a little bit of... Are they poking around and be like, I wouldn't do it like that? No, they are ready. That's when I say, things happen when it's the right moment to happen. And, that I know that they went through the process of realizing we need some external help, we need someone coming really from the market and know in detail, but someone that they can trust, that where we have a proper relationship. It's not easy to hand over this kind of thing, to hand over the product part. But now they are in the board, they are the founder, they are active in all our events and things, and I took over the operations part, and they design the product and everything. So, but we exchange, we share, we discuss, so it's just fantastic.
Interesting. Well, I think our time's almost up, maybe. I look forward to seeing what you do in Geneva. A field watch sounds very exciting.
It is.
Sort of dirty dozen.
Kind of.
I'm wearing a little field watch here.
Yeah, I see. I love it. I really love it. I went through many war watches, books.
Okay.
Incredible. I found 2 of them that are gigantic. One is about British military watches, and the other one is German military watches.
Sure.
Really
British one's
huge.
probably the better bet to go with.
Absolutely. But really going, you see them, you read stories, but it's different when you really want to go very deep into something, and I love it. So
One last question. Are you concerned in that sort of like a lot of watch people get caught up, partially because watch brands have spent their entire lives selling them? Are you worried about authenticity in that space? Like you're clearly not you're not resurrecting an old field watch brand name. You're making a new field watch.
Absolutely, which is just quoting elements and using elements to create something new. And me since a while, I've developed a very particular way of doing designs, which is really integrating elements of the past, but enriching them with the zeitgeist and with elements of modernity. And that's my way of doing things. That's where, I'm totally against reissues of identical reissues of old stuff, because it doesn't make any sense. It's like making BMW now is relaunching the 3 Series of 1981. It will look shit, and because technology has gone over,
more
security
airbags.
is going, you cannot do this, except if you really do for a collector. But you see what I mean? Times goes on, and proportions are changing. You can do the exact, because at that time that nailed it, the zeitgeist so well, but now the zeitgeist is different. So, the technical elements change, the material change. So you really need to work with these 2 elements, and the way in which you can integrate the 2 is what makes it unique, and we gives it another spin, another run of life. You see what I mean? The previous one is gone. It was in the past it was successful, but if you want to relaunch, to refresh, then you need to update it. This updating dimension to me is paramount. So
I can't wait to see it.
And perhaps one thing that we didn't discuss in detail, but is super important, one of the other very important things that I'm doing is that I'm lowering down some entry prices, and I'm launching the new field watch at a much lower price, because I really think that the soft belly of the market is between £2,000 and £3,000 for us.
Sure.
So, and the company was starting a little bit too high.
Yep.
So, these new ones are already very close to 3,000, and the one that will come in Feb that will not be GMT will be £650 to £750 pounds, and the field watch will be 2,500 to 450. So that's where the market is, and that's where there is an opportunity for Bremont. So
cool. That's exciting. Well done. I'll look forward to seeing you in Geneva.
I look forward
Maybe we'll see you in Melbourne.
to showing you.
There's a lovely boutique there.
not?
You should visit.
Absolutely. A new one. Well, we moved it. The
Yes.
new one is
Yes,
really,
around the
it's really
corner.
nice. Exactly. But it changes everything. Incredible. Huh?
Yeah.
It's incredible how traffic moves, and if you are not in the
It's
right
it's a
spot,
good little
you
strip there now.
totally lose the traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Andy Davide, what a guy. What a interesting fella. I really can't wait to see what he does with Bremont. I mean, he's only been in the job, I think, a little over 6 months now. So interesting direction. I can't wait to see what their field watch collection looks like.
It's going to be interesting.
I tried to get him to tell me more, but he was clammy like a clam.
holding his cards tight. Felix, I love hearing these Dubai files. I love hearing the kind of, the nostalgic trips down memory lane from just a few weeks ago. Of course, thank you to Zodiac Watches for supporting the podcast. It's great sponsors like that help keep the metaphorical lights on. If you want to support us, make sure you're telling your friends. Make sure you're giving us 5-star reviews. Of course, get in our Discord and give us compliments. And if not, ot.podcast on Instagram, ot the podcast if you want to email us compliments. And, have a great Christmas. I think we're going to be back with one more episode after Christmas.
Might not be a very serious episode.
And it might be kind of rushed, but that's right. And of course, Substack.
Yes.
Get on it. We'll find a link.
We'll put links up in show notes for that. I'm not even sure what the link is. It's so fresh. It's probably like otpodcast.substack.com or something, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, we'll link it up.
We'll make it happen. Thank you for everything. We'll see you later.
See ya.